Another day, another video. Welcome back to the channel, everybody. Today we are watching The Bear. This is their first episode of the third season. Hopefully, guys are excited for what is to come. If you'd like to watch today's full episode, it is available for the link in the description below. Just click it, put a password in, and enjoy. So, last episode, yesterday or whenever it was interesting. We had the kind of grand opening of the restaurant, but it was to family and friends. Now, obviously, it's still an important day. I know it's not Joe Public coming in off the streets, but it's a trial run. It's to see how people cope in the back. It's to see if you can accommodate everybody. It's to see how your services is. It's to see if you've got enough cutlery, if you've got enough, members of staff. Are you over putting pressure on yourself? Turned out that they ran out of forks. You had to go and buy some more. CARMY ended up getting stuck in the freezer. And he'd been meaning to get the handle fixed for ages as well, hasn't he? And he hasn't get it done. And for him, he got stuck in there. Everybody had to pull their own weight, work as a team. She was there at the front. He was shouting out orders. He was like, go, 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 blah, blah, blah. He's getting it all done. Claire left him a voicemail earlier on in the day. I think it was 2 episodes ago that actually when she done that. Basically saying that he makes her so happy, and she's loving that she's found him and she loves him, and he didn't get it. Well, not get it, but he didn't hear it because of everything that was kind of going on. And then he got stuck in the fridge, and then he was self-reflecting. He was going crazy. He was mad. He was upset. He blaming himself that the restaurant isn't at its peak standards, so to speak. He says he's been distracted by obviously the relationship, and he wasn't really going in on her. He was kind of going in on himself for the time being absent away from where he should be. She overheard it. She's gone. She was crying. It's kind of like a breakup, but we'll probably see it addressed this season. However, for him, he then ended up listening to the voicemail. Then he was upset, and it's just a pretty mad ending. Sugar invited her mum to the restaurant so that she could celebrate the grand opening, but then she thinks that she didn't turn up. However, her boyfriend seen her outside, and he went to speak to her, and she's saying, "Don't tell her that I was here." She come for support to see that he was doing well, but she didn't want to go inside because she's scared that she'd mess it up. You know what I mean? I kind of get that. It's a deep situation. She found out that he was having a baby, but it's not come from Sugar, it's come from Pete. She said congratulations, but then she walked away. It's just kind of like a whole overwhelming thing. It's pretty crazy, but I'm excited for this season now. It's open and everybody's going to be going full steam ahead, and it's going to be good. Thanks for checking it out. If you enjoyed today's episode, please smash the like, really helps out. Subscribe if you're new. And as always, let's jump into today's episode. I bet chefs have got loads of cuts on them.
Sauce? Anybody got any more sauce we can add to this? We already have a dish with dill in it. You knew that, right? That's how you do better.
Faster, please, Chef. Chef. Let's fucking go, yeah?
It must be effort for them filming it to put this outfit on and all that. Let's just stand there for 2 seconds.
What's wrong?
I just feel like maybe I'm never gonna see you again.
Fuck you.
That is literally like workplace bullying, that though, isn't it? If they were saying it just like that. How long was that opening montage? Fucking hell, 13 minutes. That was a proper long slug, that, wasn't it? Obviously, seeing him go through. Well, basically, it's just showing his life where he's got to his position he is today. That's what that basically was. Now, I was just thinking there, they didn't show Caviar, but he was making these dishes, and did you see him? He just got his spoon out, and he scrapes it across a bit of sauce or whatnot, and then he put a sliver of meat down, maybe an inch wide. Let's say 1 inch by 3 inches long. Not really. It was just there, lay down. I know that is probably getting sold for 50 plus or whatever. You know what I mean? I actually don't know what it is, but what I'm saying is when you go to these big fancy restaurants, everything's really expensive. And like, my question is that what is something that you have had that people pay for consistently, which is expensive, that comes in the shittiest portion going, and like you don't think it's good enough for its money? Because everybody loves, or something that's well expensive is caviar, and I will never buy it. You'll never see me spending a penny on it. However, I've had it. I went to the Royal Ascot last year, the horse racing, and the course meal that we had there come with caviar. And I had it. It was like these little circle black balls or whatever. Like, and it's like, yeah, it's all right. Like, literally, it's just like, if I never ate that again, I'm not asked. And if I ate it, I'd just be like, it's fine, but, you know, it's not amazing. And it's like, that is so expensive. We had it on, and I was just like, shit. Like, who buzzes off this? I don't get it. You know what I mean? And it's like, is it because where it comes from, it's so hard to attain, so that's why the price is so high? Not because it's so good and everybody thinks it's worth the price. It's just that, like, you know, let's just say this phone was the only phone ever in existence, yeah? Everybody will pay expensive for it to use it because there's no other phones, or they're so hard to get. It's, you know what I mean? It's only one of 100, and that's why it's expensive, not because it's so good. And that's what I think, like, half the time, like caviar as well anyway, that's what you hear. It's shit. Like, especially for the price, not worth it.
I'm so sorry. I left you alone.
So don't let it happen again.
I mean, well, it's got to go and have a conversation with Claire and a conversation with
I know I
Richard.
said, but I know I didn't mean it.
Oh, is his mum dying? I actually like him, you know. He's got a decent personality. I know that he's kind of on the rocks with Sydney, like, but
Dad,
Carm?
I'm okay.
yeah, I wonder how they find out the right amount of sauce. You know what I mean? The perfect blend.
Take all the time you need. You don't even need to respond to this at all. So sorry.
I don't want a shot. I know, I understand, but we're gonna have a staring contest, and whoever blinks, they lose. You blink. Oh my god, I lose. And you win.
Master Chef. You want me to finish that for you, Chef? No, Chef. You sure? Yes, Chef.
Is that like stuff that they've made above the wall?
Then you want music? You hear the music here?
That's the day that the brother died, because he's just seen him there. Yeah.
Sorry about how you're living with your mom. This is my father's house.
You know what, right? That's what suicide does to people. You know what I mean? So, like, for example, the person that kills himself, they've got to absolutely be going through a hell of a lot to even contemplate doing that. And then the actual, I won't say task, but the doing of that maneuver, however she's chosen to do, is mad. Like, you've got to have, I contradict myself, but like a hell of a lot of courage to do something like that, knowing that after that one thing you're gone. But like, you've got to be in such a bad place to think that that is your only way to be okay. You know what I mean? Like, I could not, I'm not saying that I dance around and wake up and singing or dancing, loving life. But I love life in the fact that I know that this is it. And I've got my family, and I've got someone to look after and raise up, and I want to be there for them and see them grow and see her do all these things that I try to do, and I want to take them on a holiday and experience the things that my parents give me, I want to give to her, you know what I mean? And like, I couldn't think of me ever wanting to disappear away from that, you know what I'm saying? And like, if I ever got put in a position where I felt like my life was so bad. I would want to hopefully be able to speak up and get friends, family, support. Because, mate, you might think that you're down, but you're never as down as you think you are. And, like, when you then do that task and, you know, die, basically, imagine being the family member to find you, or being them to get that phone call where you're at work, or just anything. Do you know what I mean? Like, it's the aftermath of that. It's crazy. Like, everybody's got to pick up those pieces. Everybody's got to deal with it. The shock, the trauma. You know what I mean? Like, you may not be able to go on your normal day-to-day life anymore. Could be your brother, could be your sister, could be your wife or your husband or your kid. You know what I'm saying? Like, how can you go back to normality after suffering such shock and loss and out of the blue for most people? You know what I'm saying? Like, not just their lives change, yours has completely changed upside down in the blink of an eye, and you can maybe never recover. You know what I mean? It can impact his business and everything. So I don't know. I feel like the act of it is crazy to even contemplate and follow through, but then the aftermath of everybody else, not just yourself, but the whole ripple effect of everybody else, it's mad. She's gonna slip and dip, mate.
Of a matcha with blood orange. Enjoy.
Oh, no way. So what I mean? Like, everything leads to... I like fucking Sydney's hair like that, you know, afro. Do you reckon he's gone back to signature? That's what I feel like it's looking at. Do you not think that's a crazy episode? As in, like, that, to me, was the definition of a filler. As in, and I think, as well, I've got to say, the absolute placement of where that episode has gone in the series is bold as fuck, if I'm being totally honest. Like, I'm not saying that was a bad episode. That's not what I'm saying. I actually didn't mind it. It was quite interesting. What I'm trying to say is that was the opening episode of a brand new season. Now, it should be captivating. It should be, what's next? What's the rest of the season leading up to? Like, the end of a season, if it don't lead on a cliffhanger, you're like, what the fuck? You know what I mean? Like, is the show finishing? Like, we ended on a cliffhanger with the fact that he was arguing with Richie and he was and Claire heard that thing. Do you know what I'm saying? Like, this was just a massive, bold placement and episode. We basically had 35 minutes, right, of a backstory of basically trying to, me personally, what I take from that is where he went from how he is or what to where he is today, basically. The path, the journey, everything that he's gone through, the test, the effort, the ups, the downs, the leaving, the going to New York, going to Copenhagen, coming back, maybe going back to basics, creating the dishes that he's rinsed and repeated consistently, you know, cutting up, which I think it looked like it was salmon, but I'm not too sure. Chopping up the salmon, putting it in, pouring the water in. You had, are they called edamame beans? Or they might just be normal beans. And then obviously a strip of fucking meat, but I still don't know what that was. And then I can't remember what dessert he had. Was that a dessert that Sydney got? Where it was like that little thing on the side and he had that, the red thing, the blood orange, and the other guy, I think he's called Kevin, man, but I'm not too sure. Like, he obviously didn't want the orange, but I don't know if he's going back to where it was. I mean, like I said, the episode was interesting, but it was definitely a filler, as in, like, the main storyline didn't progress at all, and you can say, oh, it did, mate. The only bit that progressed is we seen him in the present apologise to Richie on the phone, and that's about it. Did we see any? Oh, and Marcus's mum may have passed away, which I am sorry for him about, but do you know what I mean? I think that was a really bold statement for a reintroduction into a new series. Okay, that is going to wrap up today's episode. Thanks so much for checking out the channel today. Hope you guys enjoyed it. So what do you think? You know, do you think I'm like going over the top in terms of like saying that with the, you know, placement of it and having it as the first episode of the season, or do you reckon that was much needed? You know what I mean? Because personally, like I said, I don't mind the episode, to be honest, and it could have been maybe in, if it's a 10 episode season, dropped in or 4 or 6 or something like that. But like, we had obviously the story, we had seen his brother die, we've seen the progression in him to where he is now, and the different restaurants, and I mean, they do a lot of good cameos. Like, they got some good big names. You know what I mean? Even Batista from Dexter, like, was literally in it when his brother died, coming out the church. It seems to be Tina's husband, maybe. And he was in it for like 1 second. I always wonder, like, does he get paid for that? Like, literally, like, what would make it? It could have been an extra. Like, you know what I mean? Like, an extra playing the role of a husband. Like, and Britta, who was in Community, you know, I think that was Richie's girlfriend. She was there as well. They come out the church for like 2 seconds and the camera went off them, and that was their whole thing, the whole episode. Like, I wonder how long they worked that day and how much they got paid for that 1 second of being in the show. Do you know what I mean? However, like I said, it was just basically CARMY and where he is, and we progress through. And I don't know if it was stripping it down to the basics, as in like, this is what we kind of want to serve in, going back to what I know. You know what I mean? I'll let distractions get in the way and other people dictate quite a lot of things, and I just need to get into the routine of how I can do things perfectly, something that I've done over and over and over. I could do it in my sleep, and this is where we are and how we got here today, you know what I mean? And I've got to say, Sydney looks really good with an afro. I do love a good afro. Fleur East is a good one, you know what I mean? Like, anyone with an afro, they can rock it, mate. It's just an impressive haircut. It actually just is, and we don't see it like that. She's always... Well, she got it braided, or it's always tied up or whatnot, which is fine. I have mine tied up quite often, like, but yeah, she looked pretty decent with it throwing out, mate. I did like it, but I'm interested to see obviously the next few episodes, because I wanted to see Richie and him maybe argue, but he got his message, so maybe if he gives it, I wanted to see the conversation going on with Claire. You know, I wanted to see Joe Public in the restaurant and ordering food and them, you know, cooking and making it and back to how it was. So I think maybe we get that in the next one. I don't know, but I'm interested to find out. Thanks for checking it out. If you did enjoy it, please smash the like, really helps out. Subscribe if you're new. And as always, I'll catch you in the next one. Cheers, guys.